So it's me, your boy the man NJ2TheCity with the number 2 NCO with my Younglings shirt on. My Younglings Sport Tech shirt that I bought last year around this time, if I'm not mistaken. If not, no, I bought it last year around this time, or just last year period. 2019 is this is 2020. So one of the top things that I think is kind of maybe important for me to want to talk about right quick is the fact being of I think I did discuss the feminine heart topic in a few other videos, but if I didn't, I might have to go back into it this time around. So what I'm looking for in a wife, if anybody cares, wants to know and so on. Because like I say, I'm young, 21, about to turn 22, June the 11th, as I was born in 1998. And yeah, God knows. I mean, looking back at some of my friends' Instagrams and Snapchats that I know I went to school with, and to know that it's like within 5 years of them being outside of high school, and some of them are already either married with kids, or some of them are just in long distance, or not long distance, long term relationships with other people, or some of them already indeed have a few kids. And I'm like, what in the? I'm like, my God, I got a massive love for children, and yet you got a kid before I did. I'm like, what in God's name? And I'm like, I know I got so much to offer in a romantic relationship, but wait a minute. You got married before I did, or ended up being in a, longer lasting relationship than me, or whatever the case could have been. To better explain that last one, because I really don't know which way to explain that one, but I'm pretty sure you understand. When it comes to what I'm looking for in a wife, I'm not looking for someone that's gonna quote unquote submit to me. I'm not looking to be somebody that is negatively controlling. I understand what the Bible means when it says, wives, submit to your husbands. And I do believe that that depends on, again, your character traits, your personality, and indeed what in God's name are you, submitting to when it comes to the situation. I definitely believe that when I get married and or when I get my next girlfriend, whenever that time might be, I do believe that the way I'm going to run my relationship is not in a very controlling, demeaning, demanding way. I do believe that I'm going to, shower her with a lot of love, a lot of encouragement, a lot of respect, the same that I shower, all my friends with, to an extent, and so on and so on. I'm going to be just as respectful and responsible as I always am, or I'm going to try to be more respectful and responsible, than what I am today, and so on. What I'm looking for in a wife is not someone that's going to submit to me, whatsoever. I'm looking for somebody that is going to equally compliment me, is going to equally try to compliment them. I want us to work together, as a family, as a team, as a couple, to build our dreams together. That's what I want us to do. I do not want someone that's just going to negatively submit to everything that I say and everything that I do. And, somewhat, if you could, point it being, I don't want someone that's just going to be a robot. I don't want somebody that's just going to, say, yes and no to, I don't want someone that, someone that has no personality, no attitude to them, constructively that is. I want somebody that's going to have, someone that's going to be vibrant, somebody that's going to make me better as I'm going to make her better. I want us to be, to a heavy extent, you could say co-captains on several things. The only time that I will, when I think about it, the only time that I will try to exercise my God-given right to, be the head of the household, the only time I will exercise that right to overrule my wife is in certain situations, or overrule my girlfriends in certain situations. So what that means is, like, make it be like an executive order, of like something that you take advantage of like once in a while, not every day, not all the time, to where your wife has no voice and your wife has, no options, no choice, and she just feels like, and she just feels miserable. I don't want that for any woman out there in any relationship that they're already existingly in, or even futurely going in, let alone my future girlfriend or my future wife. I do not want, that to be their reality with me at all. I'm not a controlling, manipulative person. I'm a very outgoing, lovely, kind, charismatic person, and I want to treat everybody with equal love and respect as the next. That's exactly who I am and what I've, you could say, built my brand on thus far. And that's what I want to continuously keep building up more communities and more people with, is that love, that character, that charisma for a better life through Christ, which strengthens us. I do not want a girlfriend or wife who is going to negatively submit to me, and I mean negatively, in a way which is like whatever I say goes. No, that's not how it's gonna be, because I can assure you I'm a flawed individual who does not know everything, and I'm pretty sure my wife is gonna know a lot more things than I'm gonna know, or whatever the case might be, or her discernment on certain issues might be better than mine, and she can guide us to victory, smoother and cleaner than I can. So I think it depends on what your marriage is like. It depends on what your personalities are like as a couple. I do personally believe so. It depends on all that stuff, because if if being a trad wife works for you, then it works for you. If being equally yoked with your partner in a manner of, like I said before, where you both just equally complement each other and you're both a team, if that works for you, that works for you. I think it all depends on just what God first works for you and your character traits in the marriage that you want to have and the family you want to build. I think that's just what it all depends. It all comes down to individual character traits, personality, and attitude, and more. That's what it all goes down to. I don't think whatsoever that the trad wife life is meant for just every woman on the face of this planet. I don't believe it is whatsoever. I do believe that, you have to, because again, everybody's different. God created us equal, but God also created us different. And you have to really understand that. And that's why I also say to people, it's important to know your traditional, roles as a male and female, but it's also important to pray to God about what's next for you and how to carry about those roles and how to get better at those roles and how to, also find your own niche here and there to, support your own, I want to say likes, loves, and interests, or however I finish that sentence. Because I mean, not everybody's meant to be the same. Not everybody's meant to, follow the same path. Not everybody's meant to have the same marriage. And if you hear snoring, it's because my dog is like right there. You can see her in the camera probably. She's like right there, just sleeping right next to me. She does this all the time. But I want people to understand, being a trad wife, I don't think is definitely for every woman whatsoever. I think it all just depends on who you are. It depends on your character traits, your personality, and where you want to go in life. How you want to build your marriage and how you want to build your family. I do believe that strong marriages are totally possible. It's just that people don't pray enough to make them possible, and people are so quick to give up after one affair. I think that's one of the other top problems that we deal with in today's society culture. We are so blinded to the reality that we're all lost, we're all fallen, we're all sinners. I think we're so lost to that we think that we just have that divine right to just go ahead and divorce at the slap of a wrist, for no good real reason whatsoever, other than, oh yeah, she had an affair on me or he had an affair on me. Like, fam, come on, you know, you know. Now I can understand if that person did it multiple times, and it was evident they were just never gonna stop, and they were just not ready to, to be a real, lifelong, commit. But don't just, divorce after that one time and call yourself successful. I do think that's one of our biggest problems in today's society is after one time, everybody just wants to, be like, okay. I'm telling you, what's the point of getting married just so you can get divorced 5 years later? Ask yourself that. What's the point of getting married just so you can get divorced 5 years later or get divorced a couple months later or whatever the case might be? Again, it takes prayer and it also takes, understanding that we all are sinners and we all make mistakes and how to move around and work with that and learn, build, and grow out that. Turn your broken marriage into a testimony for more people to not make the same mistakes. That, and that's what it is. That's what I want everybody to really understand. We really have to start doing that more. Use whatever's broken in your life or whatever's broken in your marriage or whatever the case is. Use it as a testimony to help other people not make the same mistakes. If we did that, I promise to God, our society and culture would be a lot better in terms of marriage. But it's not, because everybody thinks that after the first cheat, okay, let's just go ahead and split up, like that's going to help us. It's not going to help you. It's just going to make you more lost, more fallen. Everybody's forgetting. We're all sinners here. We all make mistakes. We're forgetting that. We are totally forgetting that, and it's very evident we're totally forgetting that, and that's why the divorce rate is as high as it is today, and so on. But I'm just definitely assuring you, for me, my dream girl is a girly girl. Like, my dream girl is, dare I say, a baddie with swagger. That's my dream girl, a girl that has a girl that you know that that how do I finish this? A girl that wears lots of dresses, wedges, high heels, paints her nails often. Does doll has her hair done often. Something like that. That's my dream girl. You know, but just because it's my dream girl, I know that doesn't mean that's who I'm supposed to be with. You know, if I had to choose between because my next best closest thing to my dream girl is a girl that isn't all isn't all dressy, isn't all dolly, but at the same time she's sweet, she's kind, she's a nerd. She takes care of her body, she takes care of her as a character. It's and so on. I don't always have to have you know the dream. I can have the next best thing and be totally happy with it. Quite honestly, because the dream portion of it has to go with the fact being of like how do I put it? The dream portion of it has to go into the factor of would I rather get my dream girl and risk her cheating on me twice, and feeling like wow this wasn't worth it, or the get the clean cut nerd who doesn't yeah, or get the clean cut nerd that's still like, or even a tomboy to an extent. Another way of saying either, I can even get a tomboy and be happy with her. And that's what it is. That's the next best thing to my dream girl. I can get a tomboy and be happy with her. And that's what I want people to understand. Like, my tastes, my likes, my beliefs. Nobody has to agree with any of them, and understand any of them. But as I keep making YouTube videos and I keep making music, I hope everybody can understand something about, my character and my personality and where, I want to go and where I'm headed. Because, I want people to totally understand that, sometimes this is bigger than what reaches the surface, and I try to, get it out to the best of my God's willing and able abilities. Now, it doesn't always come out as fluent as the next, but you get the point, and so on. Because like I said, you don't have to have the most curvy body, for me to like you. You don't have to be always, dressed up in dresses and high heels and wedges for me to like you. You don't always have to be, what I mean. You really don't, and that's what I put in so many of my future songs is that you don't have to be a girly girl or a professional girly girl, of some sorts or whatever. It's kind of not. It's kind of not hard to describe what I'm trying to describe, but it's kind of is hard at the same time. But you don't have to be all that for me to like you. I mean, I like you if you're just a plain and simple nerd, or you're just a a tomboy or whatever the case is. I mean, I got many different types, many different likes. You know, but again, love you all. I might crop this part out of the video. I don't know. If I do, then I do, and I'll refilm it. If I don't, here you go, the raw and uncensored cut of it. And I love everybody, and like I say, it depends on what works for you in your life, you and your marriage, you and your family. Don't think you have to conform to what everybody else wants, thinks, and believes in order to have a successful, happy life. If you try to do that, you're going to find yourself more lost and more miserable, more depressed, and probably more suicidal than ever before. Find what God first works for you in your life to be a successful, I want to say trad wife, but you get the point. Find what works for you. Honestly, and it takes a lot of prayer, it takes a lot of sacrifice, and definitely takes a lot of, comparing and contrasting, asking, surrounding yourself with that support system, to help you navigate this life, because we don't get through it alone. So also start understanding that you don't get through it alone, and so on and so on. So open yourself up to people helping you. Let God help you through his disciples. And that's what we got to start doing more often. I think if we did that more often, our marriages would definitely last longer. But in Jesus' name I pray, amen. Your boy, the man, NJ2TheCity out. More coming soon. Thank you for watching.